Islands is a very compact world with a fair amount to do just for the tutorial. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing consistently across every texture video I put up, running around the area, give you a bit of a refresher what it looks like in the standard version or vanilla, and hopefully I can give a bit of an explanation. What my ultimate goal is for here is make Destiny Islands feel a little bit more magical and fantasy. Once I switch over, the color palette will be switched quite drastically. Doing texture editing does come with some challenges, and one I haven't spoken about yet is UV mapping. Now, this isn't a claim from me that I know everything. I'm quite amateur, but basically, all these objects, like the tree and things that aren't perfectly uniform, the way the game is told to put the texture on it isn't always straightforward. And I'll elaborate more on this once I get down back to the main part of the island. Coming here is where I've spent most of my time, surprisingly, more than plants or anything. By default, the developers made this look very well. Not sloppily done, but very convincing that a child could pull this off. For me, I found that balance to be a very hard middle ground to walk. A texture, let's say I draw this on a crate, you would logically think that will be drawn the exact way into the game that I've done it. Now, one of the challenges that comes with texture editing is that can be completely false sometimes. And 3D object, just like origami, has a bunch of marks where every seam is, where it can be unfolded. So in an object like this, here, 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 etc. Now, very frequently, it's misshapen objects. It's not perfectly uniform. Once again, hypothetically, something about this shape, right? It's very hard to define an edge because these are typically 3D. Let's say this is a wooden sign, like in Traverse Town. Trying to map where a relatively small design will copy itself over, if you remember from the previous video, tiling, you'll notice already that in some spots it will stretch because there's no seam in a uniform place. There's no perfectly square edge or perfectly round edge. And distortion is very, very frustrating. There's been many times where I've sat there drawing a very detailed little texture only to find it comes out a squiggly mess just like this. With retro games, while I'm here, I may as well do a secondary explanation. You have your playable area in here, and to give an illusion of a rather large area, just like Destiny Islands has, way out the back, there's a sky. The pink here represents the border where you cannot go past. The way they sell that it's a live world and not a massive JPEG is the skybox or the texture for the background will be here. Even modern games, or modern-ish games like GTA 5, do similar-ish things where they'll block you from accessing the world's end. Otherwise, you would A, fall through the map, and B, realize it's generally a stationary image. Now, a very cool thing that I do like about Destiny Islands, once I swap back, is yes, they have the stationary one at the back, but at the front, those clouds are a separate texture on a transparent background. So it kind of sells that liveliness in a very early game. It was developed in 2001. I think that was very, very interesting. that's out of the way, I'm going to switch to the edits I have made now. It wouldn't be possible without curse arms on GBA temp. I use a upscaled pack with my edits put on top. Of course I have permission. I'm going to point you towards where you can download the pack. I've made some changes to the command bar, added a couple little skins. Off the bat, you can start to see my sort of idea for the MP bar. It's meant to be ripples underwater. That was a very quick sketch. Riku, I tried to base vaguely off something a sailor would wear. The singlet will be turned into a t-shirt, and you even get a hint that he's older, more mature, a little bit more functional, so he has a shark tooth hinting towards him hunting and doing more things like that. A snorkel, which you'll see once he stands up in the next zone a lot clearer, and a weight belt for diving. Now the local plants, not every single one has been redone, but a lot of them are a work in progress, just like these yellow leaves over here. Now some can be very stubborn. I do want to edit these two, the purple and the green leaf up there. I'm struggling to find the texture related to them. I'm quite happy, however, with this small pink leaf. For the first zone, I think this is the best looking plant texture I've redone by far. As I climb up the treehouse, you'll get to see my complaints with the UV mapping of the floor up there. There is particular distortion on this rock and wood flooring right there, but I will work to fix that. Now in the pre-release early version of the game, this tree was meant to have multiple floors, have a lot more things. Just as a quick reference to that, I have hollowed out and added little windows to sell the illusion that they have been at least working on that. It never got completed. Running to the cave now. These are almost the way I would like them. Some are definitely going to get touch-ups. I'm most satisfied with the right hand side of the cave. I've tried to keep it somewhat consistent with the art style of vanilla, but maybe to a higher standard of drawing. Now that could break the illusion that these are kids, but then again, if you think about it, some are really talented. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you have Sora and Kairi look absolutely cursed right now. I'm not particularly skilled with drawing people. Here's Terra up top as a prime example. The references that I've tried to go for are Wonderland. Slowly I will be adding Deep Jungle references with Kerchak, Traverse Town down on that lower region, Final Fantasy VIII with Cloud and Squall, who are in this game, Atlantica, Dive to Heart right at the start of the game, and even Netherland, where you'd fight the Phantom. Now what is really cool to see, my textures do end up rendering in cutscenes, but not every single one. I believe I've gotten almost every item for the fetch quest, so you'll get to see a really cool example of that in one moment. Let's get these last two logs.
So, Kairi's home is out there somewhere, right?
Could be. We'll never know by staying here.
But how far could a raft take us?
Who knows? If we have to, we'll think of something else.
So, suppose you get to another world. What would you do there?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. It's just, I've always wondered why we're here, on this island. If there are any other worlds out there, why did we end up on this one? And suppose there are other worlds. Then ours is just a little piece of something much greater. So, we could have just as easily ended up somewhere else, right?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's why we need to go out there and find out. Just sitting here won't change a thing. It's the same old stuff. So let's go.
You've been thinking a lot lately, haven't you?
Thanks to you. If you hadn't come here, I probably would have never thought of any of this. Kairi, thanks.
You're welcome.
Sora! You wanted one, didn't you?
A Palpu fruit?
If two people share one, their destinies become intertwined. They'll remain a part of each other's lives, no matter what. Come on, I know you want to try it.
What are you talking?
Now I'm gonna do the reverse order, show you my custom edits first, and then do vanilla, just to make this a bit more seamless. Get a way better view of what Riku looks like on my draft so far. The texture on the second zone that I'm most happy with is this pink flower up here. The one that you can see right now that's more of a reddish pink, not happy with at all. But to be honest, working on a small island with the same textures over and over does get frustrating, and I'm about ready to move on to Wonderland. However, editing a tiny handful does end up changing the vibe of this second zone significantly, as you can spot how many times this same plant is repeated across the zone. The mushrooms are relatively basic, but I did want to make sure I check them off as a texture. In future, the coconut will be done. You'll get to see a very, very basic rough version of my first animation editing in a second. Redone the starfish to something that is closer to what would be found in Australia, because why not? May as well have some fun with it. All I need here, I think, is just added transparency and a different layer of darkness. Essentially everything that I've done is now covered, so feedback would be very much appreciated. Keep it very simplistic. I'm not deeply knowledgeable in terms that typical artists would use. Appreciate the watch. Cheers for your time. Maybe in another 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, Wonderland will take so much practice.